You are now a bank owner, just as we congratulated taxpayers a few weeks back on being the new owners of the massive insurance conglomerate AIG. As of today, the federal government has bought into several big banks in this country in a big way. It's all because the world banking system was on the brink of disaster last week. This is historic. It follows Europe's lead. It goes against the free market concept, but the federal government says we have no choice in this. The first installment, $250 billion to 9 of this nation's biggest banks. It has raised hopes of helping ease up credit, stabilizing the economy. We begin here tonight with NBC's Tom Costello in Washington with the story. Tom, good evening.
Hi, Brian. A few weeks ago, a lot of Americans would have found this hard to believe. The government convinced these 9 banks to take a government stake as part of an emergency plan to save the entire banking system, and with it, the economy. 8 a.m. in the Rose Garden, with the morning headlines focusing on the historic partial nationalization of the nation's banks. President Bush addressed the country.
These efforts are designed to directly benefit the American people by stabilizing our overall financial system and helping our economy recover.
It is the boldest government action in the banking system since the Great Depression, spending $250 billion to take an ownership stake in some of the nation's biggest banks, investing $25 billion each in Bank of America, Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, and Wells Fargo. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley will each get $10 billion. Bank of New York and State Street will get $2 to $3 billion, while another $125 billion will be used for small and mid-sized banks.
Today's actions are not what we ever wanted to do, but today's actions are what we must do to restore confidence in our financial system.
And there's more. To encourage banks to lend, the government will guarantee new loans for 3 years, guarantee all deposits in business bank accounts, and act as the buyer of last resort for short-term business loans. Fed Chairman Bernanke, a student of the Great Depression, said the administration had to act quickly.
Clearly the time had come for a more comprehensive and broad-based solution.
All of the steps designed to restore confidence in the financial markets, and there are signs that money is slowly starting to flow again.
But here's a key point. This isn't going to all happen overnight. Years of bad behavior have clogged up these credit markets.
In the stock market, recession fears sent the markets lower after yesterday's historic 936-point rally. The Dow surrendered 76 points. While on Capitol Hill, lawmakers began looking into those complex mortgage derivatives that many experts say contributed to the financial crisis.
Shouldn't we just outlaw them? Shouldn't we just outlaw all of these fancy little things?
As for this bailout plan, Secretary Paulson says the banks must use the money. They cannot sit on it. Also, they must accept restrictions on executive compensation and those golden parachutes. The ultimate hope here is that as the financial system stabilizes, the government can pull out, in other words, sell their stakes in these banks. Brian?
Might be some support right about now.